But the fact that we even see it at all, ladies and gentlemen, is crazy, right? Why do we see these? Now, a lot of you, I don't know if you saw the Flat Earth International Conference, maybe you attended it, maybe you saw some of the lectures that were done, but my lecture in particular, there was a section of my lecture which I find very interesting that everybody attacked my angular size argument and all this, but the one thing that not Danny Faulkner, not anybody addressed was my argument about the visibility of the ISS. And so I'm going to kind of recap what that argument was for you guys, and I want you guys to put your common sense hats on in this and think about this for a minute. So we have these objects that are, as low as the ISS, 250 miles up, 240 miles up to 500 miles, that we are seeing with great intensity, right? And look at these things. They're bright as hell, right? The ISS is the same way. And you'll notice that these things are traveling at 5 miles a second. Keep that in mind, right? Now, the thing that I pointed out in my presentation at FEIC in Dallas was that if anybody has ever played with a mirror and you try and, grab the sun and shine it in somebody's eyes and stuff like that, it gets very difficult to do. And of course, the further away that you try to do this, the more difficult it actually is. And I actually used the video where they had thousands of people that were spread out over the distance of a football field, essentially the size of the ISS, that were all trying to flash this helicopter that was taking footage of them. And, you would only catch an occasional glint, right? Because in order for something to catch sunlight, guys, and reflect it down to you, there has to be a very, very, very specific angle that it will catch to do that. Well, as we can see here, these all seem to be ideally catching that light all the time, no problem. The ISS does the same thing. And of course, I talked about the ISS, that you can see it for up to 8 minutes. From 6 to 8 minutes is not uncommon at all. And at 5 miles a second, ladies and gentlemen, that is over 2,500 miles that you are allegedly seeing this object traverse across the country, all the way across the country. Now, as if it isn't ridiculous enough that you could even see something like that, but the fact that it is reflecting light down to your eyes and down to somebody else's eyes that is across the city or across the state, all at the same time, is preposterous. Now, okay, so that means, now let's bring this back to like a flat Earth then. Whether it's a globe Earth or flat Earth, actually, the same line of reasoning applies. And I invite any glober out there listening to this, and I know you're out there, and that I would like an explanation for this. You tell me how this is possible, that these objects are so consistently lighting a light down to your eye. They don't seem to be changing angular size at all. They're not twinkling. They're not hitting you sporadically as they should be by a reflection of the sun. In other words, this is just impossible. And if you don't recognize this, then